Lemuria revealed. The lost paradise before Atlantis' souls return. Are you Lemurian? Ancient souls awakening. Now heart knows the truth. Lemuria, the starseed civilization built on pure love. Remember, before Atlantis, Lemuria's divine feminine wisdom encoded in your DNA. The ancestral call, long before the myths of Atlantis ever reached our ears. There existed another ancestral land, a sacred place, lost to time and memory, known as Some call it Mu. Others whisper its name during deep meditations or dreamlike journeys. But no matter how you hear it, Lemuria carries a vibration that awakens something profound within the human soul. Imagine a civilization not built upon war or power, but upon absolute harmony, refined intuition, unconditional love, and ancestral spiritual wisdom. A place where human beings were completely connected to nature, to each other, and to the divine without intermediaries. Where technology was not metal and machines, but pure frequency, vibrational sound, conscious energy, and crystallized intention. This was not merely a distant legend, not just a forgotten continent beneath the waves, but a spiritual memory that lives within many of us, a calling that some souls feel without ever knowing exactly why. Have you ever looked at the ocean and felt a strange sensation of home? Or heard the soft voice of your heart guiding you toward something you cannot rationally explain? If so, this video was created especially for you, because today we are diving deep into the complete story of Lemuria. We will explore where it came from, why it disappeared beneath the waters, and most importantly, what it means for you as a spiritual seeker in this specific incarnation. This is not just a forgotten history lesson. This is an awakening of the dormant soul. Stay with me until the end, because you may end up remembering something your soul never truly forgot, only temporarily fell asleep to. Lemuria represents divine feminine energy in its purest form, the nurturing force of unconditional love, elevated emotional intelligence, and deep inner knowing. It was a civilization that honored intuition as the highest form of available wisdom, where each individual was profoundly connected to the earth, to the stars, and to each other through the heart center. Today, as the world undergoes massive transformations, many believe it is time to remember Lemuria, not as a distant myth, but as a path back to who we truly are in essence. The lost land of star beings. Lemuria is one of the most mysterious and fascinating lost civilizations ever mentioned in spiritual records. Its story has been transmitted through spiritual teachings, esoteric knowledge, and ancestral whispers that seem to transcend both time and physical geography. Many people believe that Lemuria existed long before Atlantis, as a vast continent that stretched across the Pacific Ocean, connecting parts of what we now call Asia, Australia, South America, and even Africa into a single landmass. The name Lemuria was first introduced in the 19th century by scientists attempting to explain the presence of similar species, such as lemurs, on distant continents separated from each other. They believed that a submerged landmass once connected these regions, allowing species to migrate freely across it. And although this theory was eventually dismissed by mainstream science, something much deeper remained alive, because spiritualists and mystics began speaking of Lemuria not as a dry scientific theory, but as a real place that once housed an enlightened and peaceful civilization. For those on a serious spiritual path, Lemuria is far more than a lost continent beneath the waters. It is a symbol of divine connection, of a time when humanity lived in perfect balance with the earth and universal spirit. It was believed to be a paradise where people were gentle, intuitive, and deeply loving in their essence. They did not live through the separated ego or illusory separation, but through unity and expanded consciousness. They did not speak through limited words, but through clear telepathy, pure energy, and refined emotion. Their technology was not physical or mechanical, but vibrational and frequency-based. Lemurians are described as having lived in profound harmony with nature, communicating with plants, animals, and even the natural elements consciously. They built their society around spiritual growth, genuine compassion, and integrated collective consciousness. Each soul had a defined purpose, and each being lived in alignment with that purpose without resistance. Many believe that Lemuria was the birthplace of spiritual knowledge on Earth, the origin of many healing modalities, the source of crystalline wisdom, healing through sound, and energy work that continues to be rediscovered today. The frequency of the awakened heart. When we speak of Lemuria, we are not just speaking about an ancient civilization lost beneath the ocean in some cataclysm. We are speaking about a way of being, a level of consciousness, and a spiritual vibration that many believe humanity is slowly returning to today. In this era of transformation, the significance of Lemuria lies not only in its distant past, but in its presence within us now. In this exact moment, Lemuria represents primordial, divine feminine energy, the nurturing force of authentic unconditional love, elevated emotional intelligence, and inner knowing that cannot be taught externally. It was a civilization that honored intuition as the highest form of available wisdom, where each individual was deeply connected to the earth, to the stars, and to each other through the portal of the heart. Unlike Atlantis, which symbolized the masculine, intellectual, and technological path of development, Lemuria flowed with pure emotion, natural harmony, and incomparable spiritual depth. It was not focused on conquering territories or building material empires, but on evolving the soul, expanding compassion, and living in alignment with the natural rhythms of the pulsating universe. The people of Lemuria are described as having lived in a state of pure consciousness, their third eye completely open, their hearts widely expanded, and their spirits unobstructed by ego or limiting fear. They practiced telepathy naturally. They communicated through refined frequencies of light and sound. They healed not with physical medicines, but with conscious energy and focused intention. They saw each other as divine reflections of the primordial source. This is why the story of Lemuria resonates so strongly with contemporary spiritual seekers, because it mirrors the kind of life so many of us long to return to, a life of genuine peace, of sustainable balance, of trust in the invisible, of unity with all that exists. We are not just remembering Lemuria as a geographical place. We are remembering it as a vibrational frequency that lives within our immortal soul. Many believe that those who feel drawn to Lemuria today are starseeds or soul fragments from that time, returning in this specific era to help elevate the planet's vibration. The birth and golden age of civilization, the story of Lemuria, begins at a time when the Earth was still young and malleable, when the planet's energies were softer, more fluid, and more aligned with higher dimensions of existence. It is said that Lemurians were among the first advanced beings to inhabit this physical realm, their souls choosing Earth as a place to anchor divine light, spread unconditional love, and explore the beauty of physical existence, while remaining deeply connected to the divine. These beings came from the stars, from places like the Pleiades, Sirius, and other high vibrational frequency systems, and they chose Lemuria as their earthly home, not to dominate or control through force, but to create a genuine paradise, a peaceful civilization built upon compassion, accelerated spiritual growth, and complete harmony with nature. Their rise was not about territorial conquest, it was about collective consciousness elevation. They lived in perfect unity, understanding that all life is sacred and interconnected through the web of energy that flows through the entire universe. Lemurian society grew slowly and gently, without haste or violence. Their cities were not made of stone and cold steel, but of living crystal, solidified light, and organic forms that blended into natural landscapes, emerging like songs from the earth itself. They lived in deep communion with the oceans, the mountains, and the starlit skies. And many believe they could shift between dimensions easily, traveling through light portals and connecting with beings from other realms with naturalness. During this golden era, there was no war, competition, or power hierarchy. Instead, there was a collective focus on healing, ancestral wisdom, and soul evolution. Lemurians lived in tribes and soul groups, each with their own unique role and defined spiritual purpose. Some were natural healers, others were teachers of wisdom. Some worked with vibrational sound, others with programmed crystals. All were guided by pure intuition and unconditional love. But like all things in this realm of physical duality, even the purest paradise would eventually face transformation. With the passage of cosmic time, the Earth's energy began to change gradually. Lower vibrations began to emerge, and a new consciousness began to establish itself in some parts of the world. The fall and transformation. It is said that Atlantis began to emerge during this period of energetic shift. And while Atlantis focused on advanced technology and rational logic, Lemuria remained heart-centered and spiritualized. And this fundamental imbalance created tension between the two opposing civilizations. The fall of Lemuria was not sudden like lightning. It was gradual, like a slow wave that began to pull the island's edges downward. Some say there were massive earth changes, devastating volcanic eruptions, shifts in tectonic plates, and great floods that completely swallowed the land. Others believe the fall was a conscious decision, that the Lemurians knew their time was ending, and so they returned to the inner earth, to other star systems, or to the higher spiritual realms. Many believe that before the physical destruction, the Lemurians encoded their ancestral wisdom into special crystals, into specific sacred sites, and into the very DNA of their direct descendants. They created submerged temples beneath the seas and buried healing technologies deep within the earth to be discovered when humanity was ready to ascend again. Some say that remnants of Lemuria still exist in places like Hawaii, Easter Island, Mount Shasta, and even in the Andes. These locations are considered energetic portals, places where the Lemurian frequency is still strong, waiting for those who are ready to consciously remember. The fall of Lemuria was not a final tragedy. It was a necessary transformation, a part of the great cycle of rise and fall, birth and cosmic rebirth. It served as a profound lesson for all of humanity, a reminder that when we drift too far from love, from harmony, and from true connection, even the greatest civilizations can dissolve into the waters. But the soul of Lemuria never truly died. It simply went inward, waiting for the time when the world would once again be ready to live in genuine peace. Honor the earth as a living being and walk the path of the heart again. And that time, many believe, is now. The Lemurian frequency is resurging through millions of awakened souls. The ancestral wisdom returns. In a world full of mental noise, energetic chaos, and constant pursuit of external achievements, the wisdom of Lemuria arrives like a gentle whisper, a sacred reminder to completely slow down, breathe consciously, and return to the heart center. Although the land of Lemuria may be lost beneath the ocean, its spirit is resurging once more, calling those who are ready to live with clear intention, reconnect with the living earth, and awaken the ancestral knowledge that still lives within every cell. Lemurian wisdom teaches us that we are not separated from nature in any way. We are not above it, nor beyond it. We are part of its living and pulsating soul. Just as the Lemurians honored the oceans, the trees, the animals, and the starlit sky, we too are being called to remember that the earth is a living being, a conscious and breathing force. And when we treat her with true respect and genuine love, she responds with abundance, mental clarity, and profound healing. Another key teaching from Lemuria is the absolute power of the awakened heart. Lemurians lived through the heart continuously. They communicated through pure feeling, through deep and refined emotional intelligence. They trusted their inner voice more than rational logic, more than imposed rules, more than limiting external opinions. And this is something we urgently need to remember today. In a world where minds are noisy but hearts are silent and suffocated, we are being invited to reverse the established order, to lead from love instead of fear, to listen to intuition instead of constant external noise. In our accelerated and anxious modern world, the Lemurian way reminds us that full presence is a dimensional portal. When we are completely here, in this present moment, we are automatically aligned with the divine. Lemurians believed in living in harmony with the natural rhythm of life, waking with the rising sun, honoring the cycles of the waxing and waning moon, planting intentions with the seasons of the year, and listening to the unique energy of each day. They understood that everything is energy, and when you live in balance, energy flows, life flows, and healing happens naturally. Lemurian souls awaken now. Have you ever looked at the stars and felt a strange longing you couldn't rationally explain? Have you ever stood at the ocean's edge and felt as if it was personally calling your name? Have you ever felt displaced in this modern world, as if your heart remembered a time before time, a place where love was pure and everything made perfect sense. If so, you may be a reincarnated Lemurian soul. Lemurian souls are ancestral beings who once lived in the land of Lemuria and who have chosen to return in this specific lifetime to help elevate Earth's vibration during this critical period of transformation. They often carry deep wisdom within them, even if they cannot always explain where this intuitive knowledge comes from. They are drawn to energetic healing, profound spiritual work, to the mysteries of the infinite universe. They feel emotions intensely and possess a natural empathy that allows them to clearly sense the energy of other people. If you are someone who feels deeply connected to nature, who finds peace near water, who is sensitive to sound, light, and subtle energy, and who feels most alive when helping others awaken, you may be carrying Lemurian energy within you in this incarnation. You may also be someone who values unity over competition, love over cold logic, peace over dominant power, and connection over manipulative control. Many Lemurian souls feel like old souls, even from a tender age. They often feel misunderstood or out of sync with the materialistic modern world, not because they are lost or confused, but because they remember something deeper, something softer, something sacred and genuine. They may be drawn to vibrational crystals, to light language, to sacred geometry, to deep meditation, and to star systems like the Pleiades or Sirius, because deep down they know they have been there before in other existences. These souls are not here to fit into the system. They are here to shine authentically, to awaken consciously, and to help others remember who they truly are in essence. Their mission is not always loud or visible to external eyes. Sometimes it is as simple as being kind, as holding space, as speaking gently, as choosing love when others choose fear. If Lemuria touched your heart, leave in the comments, "I am Lemurian," to activate your ancestral memory. Like to guide other souls back home. Subscribe for more forgotten wisdom. The call resonates.